So I'm doing a little bit of a sales and client experience training this morning with one of my favorite clients. And what I try and do, presentation's been baked for quite a while. I customize it for each client, but I try and add some stories. And the one I'm going to share this morning, I'm actually going to share with all of you, maybe just as a quick tip. So I had a sales professional on my team when I first entered the home building industry. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about the sales transaction in that industry. You go from selling beers and T-shirts and jerseys and cell phones and shoes as a young guy and leader, and moving up to all of a sudden the biggest purchase of people's lives and an agreement of purchase and sale that's about that thick. And so I had to learn. And so I implemented all my normal servant leadership process stuff, was doing my one-on-ones, did my connection meetings. And then I was getting into coaching during the game, where I went out and I observed and looked at behaviors and tried to add value and recognize the ones that were working and multiply those throughout the team. So I went and I sat in on a selections appointment with one of the people that I think is the best sales professionals I've ever met in my life. And there are a few of them. And I watched her do a selections appointment. So, what other industries would call upgrades, in the home building industry, it's where, you've picked your model, but now you're picking your flooring, and you're picking your backsplash, and you're picking your electrical needs in each room if you want to upgrade from the base plan and all those things. And so she's taking this appointment and she asked about whether the gentleman wants another power drop in this extra den that they have in room. And the guy's like, nope, not going to do it. And she says, yeah, you are. And my back got up, right? Because the art of inquiry versus advocacy, boy, I'm not about telling a customer they're taking something. Having said that, I had missed all the appointments before. Remember, I'm jumping in. This sales professional has probably had 6 interactions with this client at this point. And he says, no, I'm not. And calls her by her first name. And the only reason I'm not giving her name is I haven't told her I'm sharing this. It's a very flattering story for her. But and she says by the customer's name, yeah, you are. And he says, well, no, I'm not. And she's like, well, it's $150. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. He goes, no, I don't need the extra $150. He goes, well, let me tell you something. We've been meeting for quite a while. He goes, I know. And they had this little fun back and forth. And she says, you're the one who told me how much you love your mother-in-law. And he started to smile. And you're the one who told me that she's coming to stay with you for a couple months every year over the holidays. And you could see him start to go, yeah. And you're the one who told me that you were taking this den and you were creating a little space for her so she should get away. And he's like, yep. And when you don't give her a TV and you don't give her power to plug anything in additional to what you already have, right? So if you don't have a spot for her to put in her TV or listen to her music, where's she going to go? He's like, oh my gosh, she's going to come start bugging me. Yeah, you're taking the outlet. Goes, yep, mark it up. And the reason I tell the story is, at first glance, what I thought was this friction was an amazing demonstration of the art of inquiry versus advocacy. This sales professional had been keeping notes for 6 appointments all about this customer's life. And so when it came time to advocate the solutions in what normal sales professionals calls upselling, what she was doing was solving problems. And it became very easier for her to even push back on the customer when they said no, to overcome the objection. And so it was really, really, at first I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna have to do with this team? And then I realized, wow, there is someone who gets it, who's got that skill. And does such a great job getting in tune. And on top of that, understanding the relationship, because then I'd watch that sales professional with different clients, and that tough back and forth didn't exist. And that came from her getting to know that gentleman over the course of buying this home and asking all the right questions, figuring out the functional, emotional needs, and knowing where she could push the relationship. One of the best I've ever seen do it. So the moral of the story is, inquiry versus advocacy. Ask a bunch of questions about the client's condition, what they're looking for, what they'd like to see change, what life looks like. Then apply your solutions and advocate for them. On top of that, in the context where the customer wants to go, not about your product, not about your service. It's just going to help them get to the outcome, which for this poor gentleman was spending too much time with his mother-in-law. I would never say that. But there you go. So the art of inquiry versus advocacy. Oh my gosh. Probably grab some water here before I start my 5-hour training this morning. But I hope that helped. Have a happy Friday morning. I hope you all have a great weekend. Don't forget the art of inquiry versus advocacy.